Welcome back on the show for Kansas Sports Chatters. Time now for faces, voices, and writers. So many great personalities throughout the state, media personalities that cover high school sports. This is our chance to get to know them a little bit better. And today we'll go with Chuck Chaney out of El Dorado, covering a Butler County Times-Gazette and also the content editor for Cherry Road Media. New role here over the last year. Chuck, appreciate you jumping on. I love all your work that you do. I know you're a busy guy, so we won't take you too long here, but how do you brace yourself for the start of a new season? What do you do mentally to get ready?
Just like run into it face first, kind of like I'm from Oklahoma. If you can't tell, Oklahoma, big Oklahoma guy. But just like a tornado, just go outside and stare at it. Just deal with it. That's what we do. But no, I'm excited. Like I love football and soccer, so I'm lucky. I got some really good soccer teams and football teams, and I got to cover a state championship last year with Andover Central. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. I mean, with my new position, and I'm already dealing with like stress, but for the most part, like I'm always tell people, I will never complain about our jobs. We get paid to watch games. We get paid to tell the cool stories, and so it's fun. I'm excited.
Well, take me back to the beginning of your career, actually, even before your career even started in journalism. What made you get interested in journalism and make this want to be a career?
I always tell this story. People ask this. So we used to go down to Antlers, Oklahoma, about 3 hours southeast of Oklahoma City. You take Highway 3 to get there. Remember stopping at Atoka, one in the newspaper. My mom's like, "Why?" We didn't have a lot of money. We really couldn't afford it. And the guy's like, "You want to read the newspaper, really?" I was like 9 or 10. He goes, "You can have it." He goes, "As long as you promise to read." I read every inch of that paper, but I remember it was a high school sports preview from the Oklahoma, and then it was the Daily Oklahoman, and I loved it. I loved reading the previews, the agates, everything, and I was like, man, this is so cool. They get paid to write about football, and so I was like, that would be a dream. And then we grew up with ESPN and what it does, and I got to cover my local high school, which my senior year we won state, and it's fun. And then going to college at the University of Oklahoma, I got to cover Sam Bradford. I got to cover Adrian Peterson. I got to cover all these amazing athletes, and it just grew into something fun. I'm like, I just always want to be around sports. And so that's where it started. It's funny. I got reconnected with an old high school friend, and he goes, I'm really not surprised that you're into sports, because I used to make fake sports before fantasy football was a thing. I would make these graphs upon graphs of just predicted seasons of Oklahoma high school football. And some of my friends thought it was kind of nerdy. Oh, 100%. It's the most embarrassing story I'm telling. But it just shows my passion that I've always had a love for sports and telling stories and kind of just making predictions. My predictions also get everybody heated. I love that. So
Writing style. Would you say you have a writing style? And if so, like, where did that come from and how has it evolved over the years?
So when I covered the NBA, I had a lot more personality. I don't have as much doing this. I try because I cover a lot of high school kids, and I keep it pretty level because, one, I don't want to insult any high school kids. They're doing this for free. It's a game. And very basic, very AP style, straight to the point. Sometimes I have an opinion column where I'll go out and I'll kind of show my sarcasm. And if people get to know me, I'm pretty deadpan. I like a good sense of humor, but I try not to sometimes with my writing do that, because I don't want to insult a high school kid. I don't want to insult a parent, because at the end of the day, this is just a game. But a little bit more personality, but it just varies. That's the only thing, especially today. I try not to make it. I don't want to hurt a kid's feelings over, because like, especially if they throw an interception, I'm not even going to mention their name. I say like El Dorado threw an interception, not Jason John threw an interception, because he knew he threw his interception, and we're not going to belittle him anymore. He's only 16 years old, So that's just really, I probably should be better about that. I need to probably be better.
You mentioned sharing the stories. Is that one of your favorite parts? If not, what's one of your favorite parts of just covering high school sports?
Oh yeah, the stories, and just I would say covering high school sports, and you'll see this. There is a lot of people who are very appreciative of what we do, and I don't think a lot in sports writing, we don't really get that a lot, especially with the way media is treated nowadays. It is really nice. Like, I get parents all the time like, "Thank you for being here. Why are you a girls soccer team where the team's 0-8? Like, why are you at a tennis match?" Like, it's It's awesome. And I don't know. I just like telling the stories. I would say our jobs as reporters is 50% promotion with high school sports, 50% promotion, 40% information, and we do have some 10% bad news. But for the most part, we're just promoting student athletes. And I saw a sports reporter on social media earlier saying, why aren't athletic directors and coaches reaching back to us on our questionnaires? Because we're only promoting the kids. You're only doing them a disservice. And I feel the same way. And that's why I'm about the kids and telling their stories. I don't like them calling me sir, but for the most part, I'm all about the kids.
Well, for you, this might be a broad question, but what makes good journalism or even good writing, specifically to you, Chuck? Like, is there a certain thing? Because I always ask broadcasters that, like, what's good play-by-play broadcasting? What stands out? When you read a story or you're running through something, what is good article or a good story to you?
I think someone who can tell the story without actually using quotes. Every now and then, I think some reporters rely on quotes. You read a story to be like paragraph quote, paragraph quote, paragraph quote, and I'm like, tell us the meats and the bones. Do your reporting, do your research, and tell us a story. I think I don't remember his name, but he used to write for Sports Illustrated. He used to do fantastic. He works for the LA Clippers now. He used to do fantastic feature pieces, and not magazine style, but he would able just to tell the story of him sitting down with an athlete, and just I was engulfed. Like I was transcended to his point where he was at, and that's really good. And sometimes I try to do that with a really good game. I mean, sometimes we get those blowouts. I covered a 73-0 game last year. There's not a lot I can say about that, but the state championship game was, I think, covering Andover Central was one of the best stories I've ever written, because I knew what it meant to those kids. I've been around those kids for 4 years. I've just started my 6th year, but I've been around all those kids for 4 years, and I saw what it meant. I saw them losing state title games. I saw them losing sub-states. I saw what it meant to win that title and the blood, sweat, and tears. So it was fun to write about. Same thing covering Butler. I covered Butler's women's basketball team. I saw them go to nationals and the hard work they put in. I think when you get into your source, I guess the best way to say it, that makes a big difference. If you come in from the outside, I think one thing, if you notice, and this is kind of what Kirk Sivenhoff told me when I freelanced for the Eagle when I first moved to Wichita. I wrote a story and he wasn't big about it. He goes, I can tell you didn't know a lot about it because there's a lot of stats. I was like, And I thought about that. And I went and looked at some of my stories where I didn't know a lot about the topic or the people or the teams. They are stat filled because I'm trying to make filler. And I was like, I'm not getting into my source, into my topic, and I need to do better. And that drove me to want to be a better reporter. So I think those who can get in and get to know their source, their topic, their person of interest, that's what makes the best.
Chuck, before we let you go, I know the season's just getting started on the high school level there in a Butler County area, but give me the top story, one of the top stories that you feel like should be taking center stage in that area.
I'm really excited to see what Bluestem High School does. I know they're a small 2A. A couple of years ago, they were 1A. They were the largest 1A, but they're 2A. They play a tough schedule. They play Eureka. They play Humboldt, teams that are bigger than them. However, last year they won 2 games. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is the most wins in like 14 years. And they went to a playoff game. They went to Osage City and scored first.
Yeah.
And so, like, to watch that growth of that program, I remember during COVID, I went on a Monday, COVID delayed game to Belle Plaine. They had 17 kids. They lose like 54-0. They were playing mostly freshmen at a varsity level, but it's fun to watch this team grow. And because of unfortunately the official shortage, shout out Scott Goodhart on your last episode.
Right.
They had a lot of games on Thursday, so I was able to make them kind of a priority. It was fun getting to know those kids, getting to know the coaching staff, and watching them grow. The elation of them winning that second game and making the playoff, they knew they were going to go into a tough situation, but they didn't care. Like, there was tears flowing. They dunked the coach in Gatorade. It was so I'm excited to watch them grow again because they return almost everyone. They play a tough schedule, but like, it should be fun to watch them play again. I think go out to a small school. Don't just 4A, 5A. They're great. Great Bend's great. Shout out to the Panthers and what they should do this year. But like, go watch a small school. Go to Hoisington. Go to Nickerson. Go somewhere. Go have a hot dog and a walking taco while you're watching some small school football.
That is Chuck Chaney with the Butler County Times-Gazette and also the content editor for Cherry Road Media. And that'll do it for our faces, voices, and writers.